students, today we are going to start or begin with our poetry section in the text. Are you all excited? Yes, I am very much excited because poetries are one of my favorite section. Why? Because poetries are the way of expression of your feelings, of your ideas, thoughts, and poetries have freedom to break the rules of grammar. Isn't it a wonderful thing? Yes. So when I'm discussing about the poetry section of 12th standard textbook, there are 8 poems in all. And the first poem, which is, that is a poem written by Walt Whitman, one of the famous poet of American literature. He was a very great essayist and he was a journalist too. Yes, most of the journalists, engineers, they do write. They are very good writers. Whitman is amongst the influential poets in the American canon and is often called the father of free verse. Who is the father of free verse? Walt Whitman. Now, what is free verse? Free means something which is not restricted, not that free which comes with one free, but free means to be free from restrictions, to have the freedom of writing in your own way. And verse is the poem. Free verse means the poem which does not have rhyming scheme. Rhyming scheme is again one term which means that the poems, if you have observed, few or many of the poems have the rhyming scheme, that is rhyming words at the end. Tat, bat, mat, cat, rat. These are the rhyming words. Similarly, you will find that at the end of the line of the poem, there will be a word which will rhyme with the another line's last word. That is what the rhyming scheme is, and we try to find it out. A, B, B, A, B, A, B. That is how the pattern goes, and many poets follow these kind of patterns. But again, there are many poets who don't follow and write it in the free verse. That does not mean that the poet has not followed the rules, but it means that poem has more deeper meaning in it. Is that clear? So this is how the free verse goes. So now we have got, and we have understood that the first poem is free from any of the rhyming scheme pattern, rhyming scheme or rhyming words. They are called as free verse poems. And now the title of the poem is The Song of the Open Road. Song of the Open Road means, if you always break down the title and try to understand the meaning of the title, it will always be easy to understand the theme of the story or the poem or the drama or any of the essays or whatever you are reading about. It is very, very, very important to understand the title. So here we try to break down the title into 2 to 3 parts. See, Song of the Road. If you remove open, Song of the Road, are you able to understand what is it? Song of the Road means maybe the happiness. Song means somewhere you have that happiness. Happiness of what? Road. Now road can be related to the travel. Over here the poet is trying to tell you to assume, or a metaphor used in it, that road is equivalent or equal to your life journey. So song of your life, the song of your life journey. Then he puts up one more word, that is open. Now what do you mean by open? Open is again that simplified into a simple word, that is freedom. The deeper meaning of open is to have that freedom of choice, freedom of decision making, basically your fundamental rights, what to do, what not to do, what to decide, what not to decide, what is wrong for you, what is right for you. It is in your hand. People will always support you, but it is up to you that whatever you will decide, whatever or wherever you will go, and whatever consequences you will face in your life, it is because of your act and nobody else's. This is what the simple and meaningful title given to the poem. So just imagine if the title is so beautiful and meaningful, how the poem would be. Keep your breath tight and just listen to the poem which I am reading it right away. Song of the Open Road. Afoot and light-hearted, I take to the open road. Afoot and light-hearted, I take to the open road. Healthy, free, the world before me. Healthy, free, the world before me. The long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose. Leading wherever I choose. Henceforth I ask not good fortune. I am myself good fortune. I myself am good fortune. Henceforth I whimper no more. I whimper no more. I complain no more. Postpone no more. Need nothing. Need nothing. Done with indoor complaints. Done with indoor complaints. Libraries, querulous criticisms. Querulous criticisms. Strong and content, I travel to the open road. Strong and content, I travel the open road. The earth that is sufficient. The earth that is sufficient. I do not want the constellations any nearer. I know they are very well where they are. I know they suffice for those who belong to them. Still here, I carry my old delicious burdens. My old delicious burdens. I carry them, men and women. I carry them with me wherever I go. I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them. I am filled with them and I will fill them in return. I will fill them in return. This is a wonderful free verse written by Walt Whitman. Now what does this mean? It is a very simple poem with very deep meaning into it. So let us read and analyze line by line and stanza by stanza so that it becomes very clear and understanding for you all to write it in your exam. But I would always prefer that I want you all to remember these lessons of the poem forever in your life. To be a very good human being, to cherish your memories, to understand the values out of it. So here we begin with the understanding and the analysis. Afoot. The very first word is difficult. What is the meaning of afoot? Afoot simply means traveling by foot. No vehicle, nothing, but just going for trekking kind of. Just imagine that you are going for trekking. Isn't it a beautiful sight in the mountains with the clouds, with the snowfall sometimes, with the greenery, with some animals, vegetation, or some people living there. Those local people, far away from that city life, far away from your burdens of life, and it is so beautiful. Just imagine that vacation. So afoot and light-hearted. Yes, again the poet highlights the word light-hearted. What do you mean by light-hearted? Light-hearted means to have no grudges, no pains, no complaints, and being very light from your heart. No worries. Hakuna Matata. No worries. This is in the Lion King, if you have heard it about. Hakuna Matata. So he is that way feeling it. So I take to the open road with that light heart, with free mind and no worries. I take to the open road means I travel to the open road. I select my own destination. Over here you can also mean it this way. That road means your life. Whatever you have done, you have to be light-hearted in your life. You don't have to keep the grudges of people that parents have done to me like this, or maybe your elder brother or sister has troubled you more, or maybe some of your teachers, some of your friends have bullied you or something like that. Forget that. Nothing matters If you are free from your mind, you are light-hearted from your mind. Then he highlights 2-3 adjectives more, that healthy, free, the world before me, because he has chosen himself, his life. So his life or the road is very healthy. It is free and it stands before me, the world before me. The long brown path before me, leading wherever I choose. The next line says that it leads, the life leads wherever I choose. Means I make my own destiny, nobody else makes my destiny. I decide where to go, when to go, how to go. That is what very important lesson which we are learning at the age of 17 or 18 approximately. Because now your life course is going to change. And then that time, that moment you will need such kind of guidances. Then henceforth, he says henceforth means after this, I do not want any good fortune. Because why he doesn't want any good fortune? Who will deny some good fortune coming on its way? But he says, I don't want anybody else's blessings or wishes or any lucky charms or extra superficial things. Like many people in India, they believe in trying the dhaga, red dhaga, or trying to keep your lucky colors with you during the exam and following it, or maybe trying to bribe the gods. Okay, these are the things which he doesn't want. He says, I'm confident enough because I am my own good fortune. I am going to make my own good fortune. Then he says, henceforth I whimper no more. Whimper means again to complain, to cry over many things, to keep on again and again, growling about certain things or trying to moan about things, that this is not there, this is not there. They're always trying to be negative. Always trying to be negative. So he says, I will never whimper now. After this, I will never whimper. I will not cry over certain things. I will also postpone no more, because procrastination is the thief of time. Because procrastinate karte rahoge, if you keep on delaying, it will be a heap of work in front of you. So he will say, I will postpone no more, and then I will need nothing. Need nothing is an example of alliteration. What do you mean by alliteration? Is a figure of speech. To decorate the poetry, we use figures of speech. There are many figures of speech, but in your syllabus there are 20 to 30 basic figures of speech which are mentioned in most of the poems. So alliteration is one of the most common figures of speech used in all the poetries. Okay, so alliteration is need nothing. The sound of letters are repeated to give that pleasing effect. Sound of letters means what? Okay, for example, if you say the names of Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, okay, so those are the sound which has the same, that is m, d. So they give you that pleasing effect and you remember such names like Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, that way. Is that clear? Okay, shall we move ahead? Done with indoor complaints, libraries, queries, criticisms. He says that I am done, means I will not do it henceforth. I am done with all the indoor complaints, libraries. Now I am fed up with that bookish knowledge. He says that I am fed up with the theoretical life which I am living. Now I want the practical life ahead. Now I don't want that querulous criticism, means what again? Whimpering or complaining. That is one who is getting irritated with that. So querulous criticisms I don't want. Now I'm done with it. I have criticized enough to about others. I have criticized about the government. I have criticized about the studies. I have criticized about schools, parents, family, religion, whatnot, etc. But from now, I will not complain. I will not criticize. I will be always positive, optimist, persevere person, or you can say, now I will be content. I will be happy. I will be enough. I will be sufficient. He says I will be strong. I will be confident. content, and then I will travel the open road. Why open road again and again he is highlighting? Because that road or that life or the course of life is chosen by himself. Got it? So now he says that earth is, that is sufficient. Now he says whatever I have in my boundary or in my surrounding, I am happy with it. Means what? To get into the deeper meaning, in your life you will always complain that I don't have this. You will always start giving in excuses that I did not have this, so I did not do it this way. If I had time, I would have done it this way. If I had money, I would have traveled. If I have this, if I had done, if I had this. You have so many if and then games played by your own mind to fool you guys. So here he says, I'm no more going to fool myself. He says, whatever resources I have right now, I'm sufficient. I'm feeling sufficient. I'm happy with it. Okay, I do not want the constellations any nearer. Over here, constellations, the poet is trying to highlight his destiny or his fate. Fate, F-A-T-E, fate. Any nearer. He says, I know they are very well where they are. I know where they are and I will get them on my way. I know they suffice for those who belong to them. They suffice means they are sufficient. He says that I don't want them any nearer because I am myself sufficient. I can manage my own. I have enough of everything. Resources are enough for me. I don't want extra fortune or extra help from somebody. I want to be independent, self-aware. Is that clear? Still, I carry my old delicious burdens. Now, this is one of the beautiful lines of the poem. What does that mean? What do you mean by I carry my old delicious burdens? He says the poet wants to highlight that he carries all the sweet memories of his travel, possibly his life, with him as a burden. Now, as a burden, that doesn't mean it is a negative burden like the donkey carries the burden. No. He says that these burdens are delicious. Now, delicious can be sweet. Yes. So, these memories, these burdens are very sweet for him and he will always cherish throughout his life. He says, I will carry them. What? Whom he will carry? Men and women and the old delicious burdens. I carry them with me wherever I go. Wherever he will go, wherever he will travel, he will carry these memories with him. He will care for others. He will always try to be that independent person who will always be kind, self-aware and always care for others. I swear it is impossible for me to get rid of them. The poet again says, I swear, means I promise. And he says it is impossible for me. It is not at all possible for him. It is undoubtedly sure that he will never forget the memories of these men and women or his travel journeys. Because he says, I am filled with them. Because his memories are filled with them. Men and women, his experiences of travel. He met so many new people across, always. So he kept the memories, he kept the lessons learned from them. And then now he wants to fulfill them back in return. Means what? That he wants to give away the same sweet memories what he got from others. He wants to share it with others. So this is the last line which we have done. I am filled with them and I will fill them in return. Means whatever happiness he has got from others, he wants to share and pass it on to others in return. That is how the poet's thoughts are in this poem. I hope you have understood it. I have tried my best to simplify the entire poem in a very simple terms. Still, if you want anything different or the pattern should be different, or maybe I could include some vernacular language, that is Hindi or Marathi or any other language for that matter, do message me in the comment box. I will again try to solve your doubts in the next lecture. Yes, thank you students. Do like, share and subscribe. I will come up with all the chapters summary soon. So just stay tuned, like, share and subscribe. Thank you.